Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, should you pick her up at her house or should you meet her out at the place you want to meet for a date? And in my book, I talk about, because I've always been successful and I've always had money, and so I like going to nice restaurants and going and having nice romantic dinners with women. That's just my thing. That's what I'm into. But you don't have to go out and blow a ton of money on women, and I obviously highly suggest that your first few dates you don't blow a ton of money on women. Maybe you just meet them out casually for a drink till you get to know them a little bit better. But I've always been the type of guy, I know what I want, and I only date women that are really super high quality 10s. I don't fuck around and waste my time with 6s or 7s or even 8s anymore. I haven't done that for years. Unless I'm really super into a chick, I'm not going to want to go out and spend money on her and spend time with her. And since I go out with women that I usually have a really strong connection with, I'll usually pick them up at their house, unless it's somebody like I meet out randomly on the street and I talk to them for a whole 2 minutes. Those kind of women, since I don't know much about them, what I'll usually do is meet them out for a drink first. That's the best way to go, develop some chemistry, and maybe after we meet out a couple of times, then I'll start picking them up at their house, being a gentleman, opening the car door, and doing all those things, because I like to be chivalrous. That's just me. I'm kind of old-fashioned that way. You don't have to do that, but that's the way I approach it, and that's what I talk about in my book. And so I've got a guy here he's actually in Europe, and so he says, "Hi, Corey. I'm listening to your audio tapes now, and I just wanted to ask a couple of questions about applying your principles in Europe, where we have certain cultural and logistical differences. To start with, the idea of picking a girl up at her house in Europe would be really unusual because most people don't have cars, me included, and it would be really weird and time-consuming to offer to travel across to the other side of a big city on the metro and bus to pick a girl up rather than meeting her at whatever place you're going out with her. Like in Istanbul, for example, with traffic, it can take up to 2 hours to get to certain suburbs and then another 2 hours on a crowded buses and metro lines. Might not be the best way to start a date." And again, I see this all the time. Everything I teach in my book and my videos and in my articles is to give you a shitload of tools in your toolbox so you can, like if you know a chick and you've known her for a while or she knows of you and you live close in town and you want to be a gentleman, drive and pick her up. But obviously in your case, I would agree. I wouldn't want to fucking drive 2 hours to pick her up and then a new 2 hours to get to the place where you want to go on a date. Especially like if you live in a big city like New York or a big city like in Europe, like Istanbul, where you're at, for instance. Yeah, it's much better just to meet at the place, meet for a quick drink or something like that. And so he says the other thing is that everyone has a cell phone these days. So you say ask for a home number, and the girl is likely to say, "Why do you want my home phone?" In the old days, keep in mind, when I wrote my book back in 2006, people were really just then starting to use texting. And, I don't even have a home number anymore. I use Skype for all of my phone calls because I can be anywhere and reach a girl that I like through Skype or through my cell phone. So, I wouldn't use those things. But in the old days, when people were using their cell phones as a way to communicate when they're out or whatever, to get in touch with them, it was a way to figure out how much the girl really has interest in you, because by using the different tools and things that I teach, the idea is to make sure that when you do set a date and you go out with a girl, you're going out with a girl that you really got a chance with, not some chick who's just going out because it's better than looking at the four walls. Because there are women that will go out with you even when they don't like you romantically because they figure, hey, maybe I'll meet one of his friends that I like, or maybe I'll meet a guy when I'm out, or hey, at least I'll get a free meal out of it. And there's women that are like that. And so the idea is you want to avoid wasting your time with women like this. So you don't have to be so rigid and dogmatic about what I teach in my book and my articles. The idea is to use it as tools to help make sure you're only going out with women that have a high level of interest in you to start out with, because you'll have a lot more fun with those kind of women. He says, and lastly, in Southern Europe, every time you say hello or goodbye to someone, you kiss them on the cheek. So at the end of the date, when you say goodbye and try to go for the kiss, they'll always give you the cheek because that's what they're expecting. And they might not even notice that you just tried to kiss them on the lips. And I would say if you're on a romantic date with a woman, you're going to go for the kiss. Because if she likes you and she's sexually attracted to you and she's into you and she feels the same thing, she'll kiss you back. She'll want to make out with you. And typically, especially like if you're taking her home or say you're in the city and you're near where you live and you start making out with her, or maybe she lives close by. If she really likes you, she'll say, hey, would you like to come back to my place for a nightcap? Or you start making out with her and you say, hey, and then you can ask her, hey, would you like to come back to my place for a nightcap? And if she's into you and she feels the same way, she'll say, sure. And if not, she'll go, oh, maybe next time. But the idea is if a woman has romantic interest in you, you want to find out right away. You don't want to go out on 2 or 3 dates with this chick and blow a bunch of money or waste a lot of your time. I mean, think about it. You go out 3 or 4 dates and then you finally go for the kiss on the lips and she still gives you the cheek. Now you realize that you've wasted time and you've wasted money with a girl that you had no romantic chance with. That's why you must go for a kiss at some point on your first date. Otherwise, you risk going out with girls that you got no chance with or no interest in. So, I mean, it's up to you. But like I said, you date enough women and you practice this stuff enough, you'll realize that the women that really like you, they'll kiss you and they'll make out with you. They'll be passionate with you. And that's the best way to go. But, I mean, it's totally up to you. You can waste your time with girls, but after you go out and you date enough women and you go out with women 3 or 4 times before you actually go for the kiss, a lot of times women will assume you're weak and you're needy, or when you kiss them in the cheek that you're only interested in friendship, or you're too nice of a guy, or you don't have the balls or the guts to go for what you want. And then what happens, they end up putting you in male girlfriend mode, whereas they only think of you as a friend and not as a lover, and that's the worst place to be because you wasted time and you've wasted money, and you just don't want to get in those situations. So if you've got a topic that you want me to cover in a future video newsletter, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which is going to be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max detailing your questions, your situation, your challenges, and you just got to give me several days to get back to you with a response because I got a lot of email from the internet, and I also get a lot of it from my paying phone coaching customers, but be patient, and I will get back to you. And if you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. And you can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which is going to be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, you don't have to have a Kindle device to read the Kindle version of my book. All you have to do is go to my website, and underneath the email sign-up box is another box that has a link that will take you to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Once you get there, on the right-hand side is a button that will take you to a page where you can download one of their free Kindle e-reader apps for your Android smartphone, your Android tablet device, your iPad, your iPhone, your Mac, your PC, whatever electronic device that you want to read my book on. They've already got a free e-reader app that you can download. It takes a matter of seconds to download it and install it. And once you got the app installed, it only takes a few more seconds to download my book, and you'll be reading it in no time. And I will talk to you soon.